13. Say I, pray thee, thou art my sister, and it may be well with me for thy sake, and my soul shall live because of thee. A prophet is lying. He lied a lie. He lied a lie as a righteous man, just to protect his environment, just to protect his earthly base, his earthly standard. He have to tell a lie. But ladies and gentlemen, you will read from the beginning. After he told the lie, his lie still existed. As the lie was existing, God had to work out another formula to prove to him that you don't need to lie. They would have touched Sarah as your wife and see what I will do to them. Some of you, you have to tell lies over some things because you are afraid of some people. This is a prophet, Prophet Abraham. The Bible says, for the man is a prophet. The man is a prophet. But he had to tell lies because he needed his wife. He do not know he was registering the lying spirit in his lineage. He did not know that he was passing a mandate over his blood. He did not know he was registering a document over his blood. Ladies and gentlemen, I have come today to tell you there are some things you need to be careful with them because it will have a generational influence. Some of us here, we are suffering setback because of what our parents did. Which is very, very bad, demonic. But I have come as a prophet today for the reversal action. I just come to teach you so that we reverse some things. Are you listening to me? You may not know that if you are a hot-tempered mother, you will end up passing it to all your daughters. And you are registering it in their spirit. And you may not know, all of a sudden they will grow up and they will begin to behave like you. Abraham registered lying spirits in his lineage. And the thing began to grow. It began to have a place. Let me tell you, polygamy can be registered by your father. And if he registered in the blood, if one is not careful, it may jump to another person in that line. Polygamy is a junior brother of divorce. Anybody that can do polygamy is also ready for divorce. If you can marry and marry and marry, even if you are not divorcing, you also have an equal chance of sending them one day at the same time in the same minutes for the same reason. Everywhere is quiet. Everywhere is quiet. Let's go down. Genesis 26 verse 7. Let's look at it. Read it for me, Pastor, if you are there. 26 verse 7. And the men of the place asked him. Ask who? Let's know who he is asking. This one, it was Isaac. The first lie was when Isaac was not born. Abraham was not even having a child. And he told a lie. But look at what his son came to implement. Isaac was more righteous than Abraham. Because he is the only person after Abraham, Jacob came. He is the only person that do not undergo polygamy. Polygamy was resisted by Isaac. But lying manifested. I will tell you how to deal with them all. Don't deal with one and think you have succeeded. Don't build one house and think I have overcome the pressure of lack of building in my father's house. You need to do other things. Because some of you, you are overcoming one generational curse. Overcome them all. Tell me, Pastor.
And the men of the place asked him about his wife.
And the men of the place now what? Asked him about his wife.
And he said,
And he said,
she is my sister.
she is my
Sister.
What did Abraham say? She is my
Sister.
You see, this lie was done before the birth of the child. So the child grew. Imagine, your father did something when he was in secondary school. You are not around. Now you are in university, you are practicing it. And you don't know why you are practicing it. Your mother did something when she was 18. Now you are 18, you are doing the same thing. This is how it do come. Whatever you influence in your lineage, as young as you are today, you are giving it a validity to be practiced by somebody who is innocent. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, the only trace and the only way to get out of such a curse is by uprooting them from the root. Poverty can be strengthened. As poverty is gaining strength over you, it could gain strength over your children. Imagine how we have to stand in faith, in prayers, to conquer poverty line. Our generation needs to celebrate men that are paving way for the gospel to move yonder where we are. Not to be joining people who fight them and criticize them. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you read here, you see Isaac was repeating a generational lie. A generational step. What happened, Pastor? Tell me.
For he was afraid to say, she is my wife.
What was happening to Abraham? He was also afraid to say that Sarai is his wife. Some of you fear have already gripped you. Everywhere you go to, you are telling lies. You have to tell lies to preserve your dignity. Ladies and gentlemen, it may not be lie. It may be stealing. It may be stealing. But I want to tell you, you are recording it in the blood. The DNA is forming a data for it. It's forming a data for it. And shortly, years to come, time to come, it will surely begin to reveal its cause. Are you still there? And then what happened?
Lest the men of the place should kill me for Rebekah.
You see, the same thing he was running away. Lest the men of the place kill me because of woman. Rebekah. The same statement. And what?
Because she is attractive and beautiful to look upon.
And she is attractive and beautiful to look upon. Call that word beautiful, according to Hebrew word, that word beautiful means fair to look upon. Now, Sarah was fair in complexion. When Abraham wanted Isaac to marry, Isaac didn't go and marry. He sent his servant to go and pick Rebekah. But in the process of picking Rebekah, he said to the man, swear by me that if you go there, you will do only what I told you. And the servant said, yes. Do you know what he did? He said, touch my waist. And he touched his waist. He said, go. Immediately you see the lady, you will know it. The Bible says when the servant came, looking at Rebekah, she was exactly what was in Abraham's DNA. Isaac was not there. But looking at Rebekah, he said, this one looked like Sarai. Because what? The DNA inside Abraham was looking only for tall, fair-looking ladies. You may not understand what I am trying to explain. There are some things that may be residue of what your father conclude upon. You may be born again, but it will always seek expression. Until you overcome them, they may seek expression in your time. The man married fair-looking woman. The son was not there. They went to bring a wife to him. If you read the Bible, when they brought Rebekah, he smiled. And the Bible says, for it was just as he expected. And he smiled. Do you know what he did? He did not build another room for Rebekah. He went straight and put Rebekah in the room of Sarah. Why? Because the blood of Abraham was controlling him. This is what I'm telling you about the generational thing. Why will he get married and straight to his mother's room and say, Rebekah, your new room is the continuation of Sarah? Do you see how the trend is moving? Line, and the line was going with a color combination. Was going with the same choices. Ladies and gentlemen, there are men that are here. You may likely end up marrying your own mother. Because before a man marries, there is something about his mother that he has to consider. In fact, some of you that marry your wife, you begin to tell your wife who your mother is. You don't tell the lady who your father is. You discuss who your mother is. And you don't know why. It's because your mother has already formed part of your blood. Why? Because the Bible describes it here. There is what we call maternal and paternal blood. Ladies, you may not know. Some of you, the reason why you love that man is because he is looking like your father. Because the formation of your father's blood was in him. And they themselves, they don't know why they are going that way. But the blood is reacting. It's reacting. There is a connection. There is a connection. Isaac was not there. But because covenant was taken on behalf of the DNA. And so when the servant arrived, the DNA began to speak to the servant. Yes, this one looked like Sarah. So pick this one. And he picked it. And he came out with it. Shortly, he went somewhere like his father went somewhere in another country. But arriving in that country, the definition of his father over his mother became his definition over his wife. Can we go further? 29, yes. Chapter 29, verse 11. You must end up some things in your life from now so that another generation should not suffer the consequence of it.
29, verse 11.
Uh-huh.
Then Jacob kissed Rachel, and he wept aloud.
Why will a man weep over a woman? He saw his mother. He saw his mother in the lady she was looking for. Why? Continue, Pastor. Watch this.
Jacob told Rachel he was her father's relative.
Look at it.
Rebekah's son.
Rebekah's son. Let's go.
And she ran and told her father. When Laban heard of the arrival of Jacob, his sister's son, he ran to meet him and embraced him and kissed him and brought him to his house. And Jacob told Laban all these things. Then Laban said to him, surely you are my bone and my flesh. And Jacob stayed with him.
What was the connection the DNA is speaking? They were relating in the DNA matter.
Yes, sir.
Because his mother appeared as what? Rachel. Are you there? The reason that it is happening this way is because in the train of the family, fair in complexion women are what moved the Abrahamic lineage. There are some things that may affect you consciously or unconsciously, but it's because of the bloodline. So today, I want everyone to look what has affected your father's success. At what level did your father leave the city and return to the village? What made your father to leave the city to the village? What made your father not complete his building? What made your father or your mother die like that? Ladies and gentlemen, I have seen wickedness in Africa. We rarely see such in the West. In the West, what you can only find is likely to be anger problem. Social vices like drugs and whatever. But in our own, somebody innocently will be tracked not to succeed. Just like that. And the tracking is blood something. Because some of us, our Asian parents, went to consult an idol. And in the conversation, they told your great-grandfather something and he accepted and he do not know the consequence of it. And the consequence later became the result of what you are passing through. You are born again, but you cannot marry. You are born again, but your mates are promoted. You are being demoted. You are born again. You put your hand on a business, it's not working. You are born again. You try that, it's not working. And you don't know why. Check what happened before you. Who came before you? Who was your father? What is happening to your uncles? What is happening to your aunties? What is happening to the line? Check it. If you look at what happened to Abraham here, lineage, you will know what I'm talking about. It can be a residue of a concluded message. Ladies and gentlemen, after Isaac, you should know Isaac and Abraham and Jacob, they suffer the same cause. Either good or bad, you see it replicating in each generation. Number one, if you look at what I'm about to explain to every one of you, you will know that causes can go as long as 20, 30, 50, 100 years. In Abraham's family, they suffered what is called barrenness. They will marry and they will not have child. And they have God that they call what? Yahweh. The supreme God. Do you know that the father of Abraham was an idol worshiper? He registered idolatry in the bloodline. And that was possibly the reason why God told Abraham to come out of the family. Haran was also an idol worshiper. If you must remove such a curse not to penetrate and to exist in the line, the first thing you must do, cut it off completely. If you are a smoker, you have to stop smoking now before you give birth to a child. If you are a hot-tempered woman, stop it now. Check. What happened to your father when he was like you? What happened to your mother when she was like you? There is a recess of a line that is haunting you, and that's why it's like that. Check your mother, check your father, check your uncles. What is happening around them? When you dictate that it is 1, 2, 3 people are suffering from the same thing you are suffering, it means it's a demonic curse. There are different types of curse. There's a bloodline curse. This bloodline curse is also called as ancestral curse. There's a compound curse. There's a community curse. In those days, communities can gather, like a community in the village. They can gather and take an oath and say, all our children in this community, nobody should go to school. We are going to be warriors. The day you join the military, they will shoot you and you die. Or the curse will bind that nobody will go to school. Or nobody will be a pastor. And before you notice, you try to be, your life will go for it. Because of certain curses. So, majority of the things we suffer in our generation, they are not because of the generation. They are because of the past and previous people that existed. Instead of them to eliminate it. There are some people, they took an oath. Their forefather took an oath and said, you will not produce many children. The remaining shall be my own. The more you produce more, the more they die. And it's not you, it's somebody that took the oath. Because in Africa, wickedness have existed for a long time. There are some people I met in my life that it is so shocking that about 5 people in the family died with HIV. 5. You can't call such a coincidence. It cannot be called what? A coincidence. It is a program in the blood. There are some homes that you go to. You will discover that everybody has to give birth to a child before they marry. It's not normal. It's not a coincidence. There's a registration later in the blood. There are some families, ladies cannot marry until they reach 40 and above. Because of a curse. There is also a curse that is called suicide curse. Anytime you climb something high, something will be telling you, why don't you try jumping down? It's because there's a demon of suicide. Such people, when they climb upstairs, when they climb high, the next thinking in their mind, jump down. it can be in a blood. When you have the spirit of suicide, you are traveling. The first thing that comes to your mind, what if they can't have an accident and I die? Is because there's a spirit of suicide registered in the blood. Fight generational curse. It has nothing to do with your salvation. Keep fighting it. Every day decree upon yourself. Prophesy good things over your life. Update your blood that you are not a casualty of miscarriage. Update your blood that you are not going to fail in business. Update your spirit that your children are not going to be wayward. Update your life all the time, because life is what? In the blood. As long as the Abrahamic line is concerned, they don't know who will follow Isaac. But the contention between Jacob and Esau was what produced the result. Now, I was asking myself, why will God give a twins? Since he knows there will be contention over who will be the firstborn, then why are they coming as twins? You know, the smartest way God could make at that time was to allow one to be born, so that anyone that follow should be what? The second born. But he said twins will come. But look at it. They are coming as two nations, because God was trying to form two nations at the same time. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to the word of God.
Saying, this baby was born first. But he drew his hand, and behold, his brother was born first.
Look at it. He came, and they say, okay, since there is a prophecy over you, over these twins, tie one hand with a red scarlet. And what happened? They tied it.
But he drew back his hand.
And he brought back his hand. What made him brought back his hand? Let's look at how finally it went. And what?
His brother was born first.
And his brother was born first. If Jacob would have mistakenly come out first, then Esau will be the spiritual firstborn. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not when you arrive this world. It's not the medium of your arrival. It's the prophecy over the number of your life. Prophecy was given that two nations are within the woman. And at the time of Judah, you should know Judah committed a sin by sleeping with his. And then the Bible says here that it happened that there was a conception. But in this conception, if you look technically here, there is a demonic force try to manipulate who become the firstborn. Why is Judah having this problem here? Why is Judah having this problem here? Since the case of Esau and Jacob, a curse entered the lineage of Abraham that a firstborn never become the first. Did you get that? The firstborn in the family of Israel never remained firstborns. You see Manasseh and Ephraim, you see what happened? You see Reuben, you see what happened? His position was swept. What happened? Because there was a registration in the line that firstborns are never the first. You see the family of David, Jesse, you see what happened? David from the backside of the city came and became what? This is Judah family. But if you go back in Genesis, at the birth of Jacob and Esau, you will see something related as this. This is a comparison of it. There was a prophecy that two children are inside Rebekah. And these two children that are inside Rebekah, I told you what? They were nations. Israel became the name of Jacob. Edom became the name of Esau. You see their name. Their name formed a nation. But have you ever wondered why Jacob was bearing Jacob until an angel came? Because the angel wanted the name of the nation to look like their name. Because according to the prophecy, they were what? They were nations. So if they would have not given him another name, Jacob, we will hear Jacobians or Jacobites. But the angel didn't want it to be Jacobites. He wanted the nation to be called Israel. And he said, from now henceforth, your name will no longer be called Jacob. Your name shall further be called what? Israel.